Broadcasting from high atop a national monument in Rapid City, South Dakota, this is the Mount Rushmore Podcast. My name is Jeff, and I'm joined as per usual by my good friends Richard and Michael.
Howdy.
These guys, they like to debate and deliberate the most ubiquitous of any given topic. And this week's topic is chosen by me, and it is the Mount Rushmore of Big Hair.
Don't care.
Don't care. As a guy who is 50 years old and is rapidly going through a hair reassignment process, that's where the hair that was formerly on my head is going to other parts of my body, such as my back.
Nailed it.
Or my ears, or the upper part of my buttocks. I envy those people with long flowing locks that are on their head and are able to do fabulous things with it. And this doesn't have to be long and flowing locks. It's just big hair. And which you guys wants to start?
I'll kick it off.
Okay.
The Easter Bunny. No, I might have... Wait.
Misspelled. Oh my God.
I might have gotten...
Wait, you didn't just... Richard, you didn't do H-E-R-R, did you?
Big hair.
The big hair, yeah.
No.
The big hair.
The biggest of everything. Biggest personality. Biggest smile. The lovely Miss Dolly Parton.
Oh my
The biggest-
God.
Wonderful choice.
The biggest of hair on top of her 5'1" head. She is...
That is double points because that was a submission from one of our longtime listeners, and that is Anderson Dadu, also submitted a Dolly Parton as one of his choices. So, right on.
We were going back and looking at pictures of the wonderful Miss Dolly Parton, and she has just always rocked the big bouffant hairstyle.
Yeah.
From the...
Even when she was young and it was probably her real hair.
Yeah. Up until the point where she's wearing wigs, which she admits now. She always had big hair and always changed the big hair to whatever role she was in, whether she was in movies or whether she, the big hair of the 80s was very different from like the beehive-y big hair of the 60s and 70s. But man, could she constantly pull it off? And I don't know if it's just that big hair on a small frame with big everything else. And she's just...
You mean like a big personality?
She's got...
Big voice.
She's got a big personality.
Big vibrato.
We saw her at the Hollywood
You
Bowl.
saw her? Wow.
I've seen her too. I saw
Really?
her in
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
And she is just this amazing performer at 70 years old, but still got that hair on top.
So got that hair. The bigger the hair, the closer to God.
Yeah.
There you go. What do you think distinguishes her big hair from other... It's big kind of Nashville hair, ain't it? Or it was all also big in the 60s. The hair got big in the 60s too.
Yeah, I think that it's kind of like I said, it just kind of evolved with her. A couple of my choices on here, man, they have had the exact same hair ever since they were put on this earth. And I guess that's just what you do. But this is something that I think she has a very manicured image, a very coiffed personality. She projects exactly what she wants to project. But you look at her and you see something very... I wonder what she's like out of...
Yeah.
She's adorable, and I don't want to hear anything else.
I mean, because she is all tatted up. She's all sleeves, all across the rest of her body.
Total tats. Yeah.
Seriously, but not on stage. On stage, she's still that country girl with the big hair. And I don't know. I think that she was the first person I thought of when you threw this topic out.
Oh, is that right?
It's just this... I don't know. There's everything about her is big. Big.
The backwoods Barbie persona. I think someone she cultivated as a young singer and performing on road shows and wagon shows and Grand Ole Opry. Yeah.
For someone that is 5'0".
Yeah.
To stand out, you need everything.
Yeah.
To be popping.
And her name's not like Lisa Parton. It's Dolly Parton. So I can see that.
She does not have sleeves, by the way. I just looked this up. I will defend her.
Pretty sure.
She has tattoos, but she does not have sleeves.
Okay. Well, the point is she is all inked up.
All right. So coming out swinging with Dolly Parton.
We can stay with music for my first choice.
Oh, okay.
My first choice are the B-52 girls.
Oh, I love it.
Cindy Wilson and Kate Pearson. We were talking about wigs.
Yeah.
Literally a song called Wig that they have, which is about how awesome wearing wigs are.
Yeah.
And for the B-52s, I mean, partially the band was kind of named after the beehive hairdo. And their wigs were as much a part of the aesthetic of the band as anything else that was happening.
Yeah.
They had this Jetson sort of quasi-hipster, but kind of quasi-futuristic look. And
okay, for the rest of the episode, you have to do it in the voice of Fred Schneider.
What are you talking about? And so that really made him stand out from.
Worst Fred Schneider I've ever.
If you go
on stage and
meets Rudy
karaoke, you can karaoke anything in the voice of Fred Schneider, and you're going to get a great response. I can be up there singing "Common People."
I'm not going to. No. My feelings are hurt now.
I'm sorry. So very good, Fred Schneider.
Thank you very much. But I think this whole look kind of made them stand apart from as much as their music made them stand apart from other new wave bands, their look did. Because if you think about other female artists that were new wave at the time, it was like Chrissie Hynde and Debbie Harry from Blondie or the Runaways. They had a very tough kind of look to them.
A lot of mascara, a lot of leather.
And then with the Debbie Harry thing, kind of a very modern.
Yeah,
almost more of a throwback to like French New Wave, and they just look different. And it was sort of a signpost that hey, if you're going to see the B-52s, you're going to get something different than probably any other band that's out there. And the wigs have just become them.
Yeah,
I mean, you think of the B-52s, you think these giant beehive wigs. Cindy Wilson with the one that's got like this bird cage on top that she used to do for a long time. And even though they're in their kind of like Dolly Parton, they're in their 60s now.
60s and 70s, yeah.
Yeah, and they're still out there, touring the country with their big ass wigs. And I just respect the hell out of them. I am even more so than I'm a fan of their music. I'm just a fan of them.
Yeah.
Personally. Yeah.
As a kid, searching for an identity, getting into adolescence, and seeing how, seeing punk and seeing new wave and seeing some of these postures that I could attempt to adopt, but would not have done successfully. The B-52s were a great representative of this goofy kind of world that you could occupy and still be a performer and a rock star. And I think what we finally saw when they were on MTV was maybe a little bit upscale of the version that they probably wore in Athens, Georgia, which was thrift store crap, that was available. It was probably the cheapest clothes they could buy.
And the cheapest wigs.
And I also love, as a band that had a very, they were definitely allies, Fred Schneider and the original drummer, I think, was gay. They definitely had...
Cindy Wilson.
Well... Oh, was she the original drummer?
No, but she is gay.
Oh, she is gay. Okay. I definitely felt like the wigs, even as worn by women, were a statement of drag because they were putting on this character that was kind of like these otherworldly women that might have been in a Ed Wood space movie or something like that, or their grandmothers or their mothers.
I think that there's a sense of fun with drag queens.
Yeah.
That I think extends to what the B-52s were trying to do. I mean, it was pure party music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there was a sense of camp to it. There's a sense of like this whole John Waters kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
Like in a really
as soon as
fun
you mentioned
way.
that, John Waters came to mind too.
Yeah. There's a great Slade podcast that compares the Protean Athens bands of REM and B-52s and kind of tracks their career and what they both did to bring indie music into mainstream, and then did with such amazing success. Think of the B-52s like, oh my God, the number one karaoke song ever is probably Love Shack, but this idea of this band that were total weirdos who just wanted to create goofy dance music that were able to break into actual pop charts out of college charts like REM. But yeah, that's a fun choice. Michael, what is your second choice?
I'm going to stay in music. Robert Smith from The Cure.
Oh my god!
We just talked about him last week on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame snub. There is no one that is as dedicated to a look
to a big
has been for 30-something years as he has. And God bless him through all of the fatness and all of the messy, scruffy, bearded kind of looks with the red lipstick and the dark eyeshadow and just the messy tangle of a bird's nest on his hair.
Yeah.
There's nothing more iconic to me than that man.
He's kind of the Tommy Wiseau of, of pop music.
It was funny because, like, his hair has kind of gone big and small throughout the years. I mean, over 30 years, eventually you do get a haircut. But there was a time in, like, the mid-'80s when him and every other member of the band all had the same big haircut. Like, especially, like, the bassist, Simon Gallup. And Simon's hair was bigger than Robert Smith's for a little bit. And I bet there was a part where it was like, okay,
look, mate,
I'm the big hair guy. You're going to cut it back and wear it in a ponytail. And if it's funny, I talked about it last week.
There's only room enough for one big hair in the band.
That's
and
right.
I mean that quite literally. There's only room
only
on
fit
album
the two of us.
covers.
Well, I also think of lipstick and eyeliner too. Is his jam. Yeah.
I don't think the rest of them dressed up as much with that look, but definitely like the big hair was just kind of rocked throughout the entirety of that group. But he still wears it. Like, we saw him a few years ago, and Simon Gallup is just like in shape. He's like, 50-something years old, probably 60, the bassist, short hair, cool looking rock and roll guy. And there's Robert Smith and like his big blousy Isle of Dr. Moreau sort of like outfit.
Yeah.
Kind of, they didn't put the camera on him all that much. They kind of filmed him from far back. Not a lot of close-ups of Robert Smith's face.
He's starting to look a lot like, what was that
Like
movie
a big ant.
Your aunt? You mean like
Yeah,
your mom's sister?
Aunt.
Okay,
Like your big aunt. That you're just like, okay, there's Auntie Robert.
Oh, she eats her feelings, Auntie Robert.
I don't know. It just big, beautiful.
He's starting to merge into that. What was that movie with Sean Penn where he played like basically the Robert Smith looking guy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's starting to look like a parody of himself at this point. Do you think that's his real hair now?
Yeah.
So?
It doesn't look great.
Okay.
You know what I would love?
You wouldn't the hair wouldn't look that bad
if it was a wig.
If it was a wig, you'd be like, I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to get my professional wig.
Can we do a role play?
Yes,
where
please.
we pretend
which president is coming?
No.
Who had the biggest hair of all of the past presidents?
Unfortunately, I know that answer.
I'd love to hear your first pick, Dolly Parton, sitting down with Robert Smith to talk about it.
Talking about hair.
Well, look at you. Why, you look really nice.
It's just really nice to meet you, Dolly. I've been such a huge fan.
No, I think you should keep it. It looks good. That's your look. Listen, darling.
I just always wanted to.
Don't ever get up your big old hair. People wanted me to change, but I didn't.
Cute.
10 minutes, Mr. Smith. Oh, thank fucking God. Richard, what is your second?
All right, so I will stay in music as well, and also stay in the 80s. With good job, Flock of Seagulls. Nice hair.
Oh, wow.
Mike Score from the Flock of Seagulls.
Wow.
A man whose hair is literally an insult unto itself. He calls him a flock of seagulls. You know exactly what he means. Mike Score, who was a hairdresser.
Oh, he was.
Before starting Flock of Seagulls. And the whole story behind it, and everyone knows it. I'm not going to describe his hairstyle. Everyone knows what the Flock of Seagulls haircut so it looks like. Apparently, when they first started out, his hairstyle was kind of accidental. He was trying to get his...
No shit.
Yeah, right? Well, it wasn't like he sat there and said, it'd look good if I looked like a flapping seagull. He was trying to get Ziggy Stardust hair. And he was doing all this work on it. And the bass player was trying to get the mirror at the same time and put his hand on his head and pushed all of the hair on the top of his head, like the middle part, down on accident when it was hairsprayed. And the haircut just sort of stayed. And he thought, that looks good. That looks aerodynamic.
That's so funny.
So
I love I love those moments in life that are like these weird like intersection points, or like these weird like what would have happened if only this one thing. Mm-hmm. I love the idea of Flock of Seagulls flaming out because the guy didn't put his hand on his head.
Yeah.
And the guy didn't look like a total goofball.
Yeah.
Of course, he's bald now.
Oh, yeah.
If you get see pictures of Mike Score now, he is completely bald.
Got to meet him at the Starlight Bowl a couple summers ago, and his groupies are also a little bit older.
Completely bald?
Completely bald. But, he looked like having a blast. One guy with a keyboard.
Oh, sure, yeah, because they're not together now, I don't think.
No, yeah.
But, I mean, his hair was basically, when you close your eyes and if I ask you to think about new wave hair,
yeah,
that's like the first thing you think of.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a goddamn ridiculous hairstyle.
Yeah.
I just have to imagine that, like, he got so sick of having to go out in public with that hairstyle that after a while it was just like, please let us stop being famous.
Yeah.
Let the band break up, and I can do solo stuff, and I can just get rid of this damn thing on top of my head.
A little bit looks kind of like Nouveau Wolverine without the mutton chops aspect too.
Yeah. What did this? I thought that was somebody who looked like him. There was like an entertainer or some child actor who had that same thing.
Kashagugu?
Kashagugu, Lamal from
Yeah.
Kashagugu. I love that he ran a restaurant. He lives in Brevard County, Florida, and he ran a restaurant called the Legends Cafe in Cocoa Beach, which closed in 2008. Oh,
Probably because his hair kept
It
getting in.
kept getting
a hairnet over that damn thing.
There's something in my soup. Cool. So awesome. So we are at our halftime, and at this point, going to invite you to join us out there on social media and let us know what your choices for the best big hair are. You could also let us know what you think of past episodes by going on to iTunes, to Stitcher, to SoundCloud, to iHeartRadio, to iMovie. You go to Microsoft Paint, and you could open up a text app and then just start typing and let us know what you think of our past episodes. Download, rate, and review. We'd love to know what you think. We'd also love to know that you, our conscientious listener, are supporting podcasting in general by going out and listening to other podcasts. And here's one of them that we like.
Hi, I'm Erica,
And I'm Billy.
host of Martinis in the Macabre, the podcast that covers all things murder, mystery, and mayhem.
With some alcohol and dark humor thrown in for good measure.
We'd like to invite you to the Martinis in the Macabre cocktail hour, where we'll delight you with the soothing sounds of gruesome murders,
Mysterious disappearances.
the paranormal,
Dark folklore.
and many more. Act now and we'll throw in dancing plagues for free.
Yes, you heard that right. Dancing plagues.
So check out Martinis in the Macabre, available on most podcast apps and always at martinisinthemacabre.com.
And we are back.
Fred Schneider?
It's not Johnny Carson doing Art Fern's Tea Time, as done by Fred Snyder.
The mighty Carson Art players are going to Floyd R. Turbo will now perform. Carson ripped off all those characters from Steve Allen, who probably ripped them off from vaudeville or something like that, burlesque. Yeah. So we are back. This is the Mount Rushmore podcast. We're discussing the Mount Rushmore of Big Hair. And so far, these guys have stuck to music, but I have a feeling that might not continue. Michael Winfield's third choice is?
No, I might continue.
Oh, okay.
If I was to say the name Christopher Martin, what would you think of?
Is he not Coldplay?
If I was to say the name Christopher Reid, what would you think of?
Oh, I got it.
But-
Kid and or play.
Oh,
If I
okay.
was to say Kid and Play, you immediately know
Yes,
that we're
yes.
talking about Kid.
Yes.
We also immediately know that we are not talking about Play.
Play
No.
just had those dreadlocky things, right?
Yeah.
Play is the guy.
We thought
that
he was
is
Theo
not
from-
the guy
yeah.
with the biggest hair.
Yeah.
They were a rap group from the 80s, put
Yes.
out 4 albums, but probably best known as
House Party.
House Party,
Yeah.
actors in, teen comedy stuff. But even more so, they're known as the guys that did that one silly dance, and the guy had, hair that was
Yeah.
3 feet
Crazy lid. Yeah.
foot off the top of
Yes.
his head.
Yes.
He it's not quite like an afro. It is something so unique of itself. It is a flat top plus.
Yes.
It is basically Marge Simpson esque, but totally not. It's something that you can only do if you are in the entertainment industry. No one has that hair. No one, like, just normally you don't, even the people that are influenced by him don't take it that far. Even if see people from the 80s having kind of a big Robert Smith rat nest or big Dolly Parton bouffant hairstyle or...
Here we go.
7 years ago. Hold on. Let me take off my top hat.
Oh my God.
All the way up!
He's got a high fade.
What did you expect was going to be under my hat?
I actually thought it might be some woodland creatures.
Oh no, I have combed up my hair into like a tall cylinder that sits on my head. Okay, gotta go. Hey guys, what's up?
That was special. That was incredible.
But you're right. I mean, there were a lot of high fades in the 80s. Mm-hmm. There were no fades that were that high.
No, that was pretty
So it's like basically if you're in music or film or entertainment in general, you can do whatever the normal person does, but do it like 50% more. You can exaggerate it and it's fine.
What I find interesting about them as a duo is you need the guy to also have not hair.
Yeah.
Like Milli Vanilli as a duo, sure, they were forgettable just in terms of the music that they put out wasn't good, and they were liars and faked their singing music.
Yeah.
But their hairstyles were very much the same.
Yeah.
You could confuse Milli and Vanilli back and forth.
Yes.
With Kid and Play, there is no confusion there. There is the guy with the hair, and there's the guy without the hair. And I think that helped to define them as an image, something that you could market as much as anything.
Didn't Simon and Garfunkel had the hair, right?
Yeah,
Simon had
the Jew afro.
He had the big hair. Okay.
You need big hair, small hair.
Yeah. I don't know why I looked this up, Kid and Play, but I think they were backup dancers for Salt and Pepper at some point at the beginning of their careers. And so I think their stage image was crafted by being those people that needed to be visually interesting and be so from behind the lead singers.
I love them as like sculptural art pieces or almost like topiary.
Yeah.
Where that's set up in your garden party where you can sit around and enjoy the food, but then look around like, oh, there's a lion, or there, oh, that guy's hair is 3 feet off.
I also think, is it Chris Reid, his performance, I remember seeing him in House Party and thinking, he's actually a very charming guy.
Yeah.
He delivered a great performance for a kid who's just supposed to be a musician turned, out for this one movie. So, that's fun. Okay, so Richard, your third?
All right, so we are going to finally get away from music.
Okay.
And go into my bailiwick, sports.
Oh, all right.
And we're going to go with Oscar Gamble, specifically his 1976 Topps traded card when he was traded, which is this set that Topps puts out when mid-season to kind of like take care of all the people who had been traded from one team to another. And he is the possessor of, I would argue, the most famous afro, certainly in baseball history, if not all sports history. I will show it to you guys because I don't know that you're familiar with his work.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. How would you describe that, Jeff? It looks like someone put an afro on top of, on each side of his head.
Yeah.
And then a baseball cap on top of that.
Yeah, it looks like if Princess Leia was played by Aretha Franklin or if Krusty the Clown had to go work in Detroit or something like that.
I mean, I don't know who made the baseball hats then. Maybe let's pretend it was New Era or Nascent New Hair or whatever the name of the company. Just the power of that hat.
Yeah.
To hold that down is incredible. The stitching on it must be like double, triple stitch just to like contain it. It must just be rattling.
That's
because
really
I will
impressive.
to describe it to you, it is a giant afro, but then a baseball hat on top of it. Mm-hmm. So it is pushing down just the top of his head, and this baseball hat looks like it's a good size bigger than it would otherwise have to be.
Yeah.
Just because of all of this bushy hair that it has to oomph down.
What year is that?
1976.
76. So this is when I think of hair as, or dress, or one's appearance as a political statement, I think of a guy like James Brown going from a process from hair that has chemicals in it to a natural look.
Sure.
And I wonder if ball players were also impacted by that cultural
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I look at him and I think of two things. Ball players endure a grueling, boring season.
Mm-hmm.
It goes on for forever. And you can see throughout the season, they're just messing around with their hair. They're constantly, it's growing long and scraggly.
Yeah.
And they just
Beards are happening.
They're like ball players more so than any other like athlete in sport or baseball players. Like they just do crazy stuff because they're bored.
Yeah.
Crazy mustaches, crazy facial hair, crazy beards. This guy had a hell of a season. But also, I don't know if he's in the Baseball Hall of Fame, but the sculptors have some work. I don't know if you sculpt from that.
I don't know how you.
Do you take like the most iconic look and put it in, or do you take the look of them when they retired? I don't know. I don't know what their process is.
So here's the deal about
pick.
Oscar Gamble. He was a very good player, not a Hall of Fame player, but a very good player. I think it's somewhat unfortunate for him that probably if you ask a baseball fan about Oscar Gamble, that's the first thing they're going to think of. And the other thing is, this was actually when he was traded to the Yankees, and this was Steinbrenner's Yankees, and those Yankees had a strict policy. You know, the Don Mattingly no sideburns Yankees of no beards, no long sideburns, no long hair, and no afros. So Oscar Gamble, when he got traded to the Yankees, showed up at spring training. They told him about this. And to his credit, I guess, he didn't fight it. He just went, and it was on a Sunday. So they had to find none of the barbershops in Florida and wherever they're, Fort Lauderdale, I think, were open. So they had to go and actually find basically a special local barber to come in on his day off to cut off Oscar Gamble's hair.
Wow.
So that's how much of a commitment he had to the team. So God bless you, Oscar Gamble.
Cool, the world of sports. We've got rock stars and sports stars now, and Michael's final choice is what?
Oh, I'm going to ruin all of this. Cousin It from the Addams Family.
That's another double score for Michael Winfield.
Whose was
it was Anderson Dadu. Anderson Dadu chose Cousin It. There seems to be
no collusion. No collusion.
Yeah, I'm kind of suspicious myself.
You're not exonerated, Michael.
Cousin It was also a choice from Anderson Dadu, so it's another twofer. So it's automatically in, and it's a twofer. So, okay.
I have to say that this wasn't originally on my list, but my dear wife, she threw it out there, and it was just like...
Michael's got a wife and a dear wife.
It was like, I love you.
I love Cousin It.
What a great, ridiculous choice. A being that is made almost entirely of pure hair.
Yes.
The old TV show. I didn't know that he was a creation of the TV show. Doing a little
he wasn't
reading.
He
was not part of
Charles Addams.
The original Charles Addams comics.
Oh.
They created him to be, one of the cousins of Gomez Addams. And
he almost seems like an R. Crumb or Zap Comics kind of character, hippie kind of character or something.
I think that he would often, like the character in the roles, would take on whatever they kind of needed for him. He was the cool one in spite of his long hair, and he had,
or maybe because of it.
Yeah. What's her name that did who was Mrs. Addams? Morticia. She did the voice for him.
Oh, she did.
They just sped up her voice and did all that silly stuff.
Why am I forgetting her name? She was in Munsters, I think.
That's Munsters. What's
John Aston was
the furious sound of typing.
Yeah. Janet Waldo? No, that's a series. Carolyn Jones.
Angelica Houston.
Angelica
Houston. I wonder if Angelica Houston went back and did the voice in the for the movies of him. I don't know. Anyway, Cousin It is just, again, the choices on here are like iconic, and I don't know. There's something about him that is so just stupid looking.
Yeah.
But I love that the family as it exists is one that accepts weirdos.
Yes.
It is one that cherishes weirdos, that pushes them forward, and his hair. Good stuff. A lot of conditioner.
Yeah.
Like, I just got a haircut. The best thing about a haircut is it doesn't take me long to wash my hair. I love it. Whatever you spend on getting a haircut, you save on shampoo costs.
Richard, yeah. Very
I'm
nice.
shorn, so
Yeah.
no shampoo.
We're gonna play the
needed.
bongos on Richard's head after.
Well, sure.
I think also because in it.
Well, you did have. It was interesting. You did have the flock of seagulls haircut last time we recorded, and now it's
Totally.
like you shaved all the way down.
This is actually just one of those skull caps.
okay.
Oh, it is? Oh. I guess if you already have Uncle Fester, who is bald, you probably need to do something different
Again, long
than
hair,
that, too.
big hair, short hair.
Big hair. Yeah.
There you go.
Our land is one built of contrast.
Yes. Okay, Richard, your final choice.
Okay, my final choice is Marge Simpson.
Right on.
So here's a brief list of things that have been found in Marge's hair over the years: money, a cat, a chicken, a beach umbrella, a checkbook, a pencil. Also, it may hide rabbit ears because
TV tuner ears or actual
rabbit ears.
Oh, okay.
Because this was something that Matt Groening had this idea when they first started the show. Because if you know his Life in Hell
Yeah.
series,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have those like rabbit ear type things. Was that on the very last episode of The Simpsons, it was going to be revealed that Marge's hair was actually hiding giant rabbit ears.
Wow.
And everyone in the writer's room thought that was an incredibly stupid idea.
Yeah.
But I think nobody really wanted to tell him because that's your boss. Until the idea got to Sam Simon, who was one of the executive producers at the time.
Yeah.
And he basically yelled at Matt Groening about what a stupid idea that was, and we're not going to do that, and don't bring that up ever again.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
Matt Groening kind of just shrank, and it never actually happened.
Wait, he said this at the last episode.
Well, yeah, the very last episode of The Simpsons, it was supposed to be this, and they
Yeah.
just decided it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Marge's hair, who is basically as long as Cousin It's hair when it's naturally down. Which I also didn't realize, I'd forgotten this, that she dyes it blue because she went gray when she was 17.
Oh.
So that's why she dyes it blue.
I'm gonna cut in. I just looked up Marge Simpson rabbit ears.
From the video game, they if you look, there's a couple of sprites and spoiler things where she has rabbit ears, right?
Yeah, if you electrocute her or she gets shocked, her skull underneath has like big rabbit ears.
Right, so that was like a little homage to the original.
That's a nice little Easter egg. That's
Yeah.
fun. Oh, what a
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, Marge is just this iconic character, and that's what you think about when you think about Marge Simpson, is this giant bouffant. And I think that bouffant kind of ties into her character, that she's somebody who, you know, you look at the like when she was in high school, some of the flashback episodes, she has this long, flowing, beautiful hair.
Yeah.
And she's kind of taken that part of herself away so she can be this like try to be this perfect mom. And this hairstyle kind of, I think, symbolizes the difference between high school Marge and pre-Homer Marge versus who she is today.
It also reflected like a connection to her own mom, who had the same sort of hair.
Yeah.
And then, her sisters kind of had big hair too.
Yeah, they all did. The Bouvier
A
family.
lot of big Bouvier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do Patty and some of they have more like the Oscar Gamble?
Yeah, a little
hair,
bit
don't
more
they?
frizzy than it is big.
Yeah. Okay. I think that means we are Dunsville, right? So Michael gets 4 points. 2 for Dolly Parton and 2 for Cousin It, because they were both chosen by Anderson Dadu. Anderson was very kind to submit some suggestions. He also suggested Claudio from Coheed and Cambria.
Big whiff. Do
Yeah.
not associate my name with Anderson going
Okay.
forward.
Anderson is a good friend of Michael's, and they share a lot of the same tastes and opinions. And Ludacris was another one of his choices. So he's got a big lid. Okay, and then because of a choice that derivated from entertainment, Oscar Gamble. And so Richard's got
3 for that one.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I feel for a brother like Mick Score from Flock of Seagulls. That's his name, right? Score. Who's still keeping it going even though his hair has left the building. So those are the choices. This has been the Mount Rushmore of Big Hair. But none of you guys chose Animal from the Muppets, which is the one I wanted.
You could have chosen Animal from the
Nah,
Muppets.
I got overruled. Okay.
It was the one that over. I know. That's true.
That was the worst. Okay. I, as always, am Jeff.
I'm Richard.
I'm Michael.